What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday the 14th. Time for another rundown. This is going to be a public rundown. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the fishing on Fork. I'm going to tell you about a few other things that are happening in our areas too. But first thing, let's talk about the lake itself, okay? Our water temperature is ranging from 47 to 51 degrees. That's still pretty cold, okay? Clarity, 0 to 1. There's a lot of dirty water now. Something I used to say a lot, I came from California, Arizona type lakes, very clear water. Lake Mead, for example, we can see 100 feet. Sometimes it's that clear. Lake Pleasant, bed fishing in 15 to 20 feet of water, literally vertical bed fishing with a flogger, which is looks like a parking cone with a piece of glass on it. You can crystal clear water. I used to always say that I don't like cold water. And because I fish so much clear water, I didn't like dirty water. I can tell you that I really, really, really don't like cold, dirty water. I've really learned to hate it. However, the dirty water warms up first. So keeping in mind that the lake is changing very rapidly, we're 400.49 yesterday, 400.50 today. Remember that the 0.50, that's 6 inches. For some reason, an hour ago it said 0.68, but now it's changed back to 5.0. I don't know if it was a glitch in the system or not, but that's 2.5 feet below full pool. We had some light rain through the night, light rain this morning. The ground is saturated and everything is flowing. I mean, you could spit in my yard and it flows towards the pond. We are saturated here up in the north end of the lake. So for any bit of rain we get, it makes things flow, which is great. We're really on our way. If we can, in the next 10 days or so, while the ground is so saturated, while the ponds are so full, we can get just another 2 or 3 inches of rain over the next 10 days. I believe it's going to almost fill the lake. So we are staged tremendously for an excellent spring. Prayers have been answered. The thing is we're cold. We're cold, dirty water. I'm going to talk more about this next Thursday in 2 days, but you really want to watch the warm trending weather. I've mentioned this before. What I mean is not just the warm trending days, but the warm trending nights. When we see the night temperature above 50 degrees, then whatever happened during the day, warm trend wise, is held over into the next day. If we can get a couple, 2-3 days of warm trend with a couple of nights that don't go below 50, the lake changes very, very fast. I mean, like that, 24 to 48 hours, the temperatures of the shallow backwaters, it's literally like a swimming pool with a heater on it. And especially with the dirty water, it's even faster. So the only variable that changes that is high winds. High winds will mix and churn the lake, blow one end one way, and then the next day blow it the other. And so that counterbalances, because when one blows one way, the surface goes and the bottom comes up the other. So if we get a huge north wind, all that warm water goes down north, goes south, I mean, and then the cold water comes up into the north end. Vice versa, we get a big south blow, all the warm surface water goes, and the cool water pulls up on the south end. So these are some pretty important variables to put into your equation over the next few weeks while you're fishing, looking for warm trended water. Pay attention to wind directions, high winds, etc. Those things are huge. Fishing is okay. There are bass starting to move in already. Rising water rises fish. So there's no doubt that there are males, young fish moving in. There are some females starting to cruise and look around. And again, it can happen really, really fast. I believe next week there are 3 days in a row, and I'm going to talk more about it on Thursday, but I believe there's 3 days in a row where the night temperature is above 50 degrees. Those 3 days we're going to have a huge warm trend, and it may just be 3 or 4 degrees in the lake. But I have witnessed here in Northeast Texas, Little Caney Creek, the one up the middle, the finger up the middle, has risen as much as 17 degrees in just a few days. Now, mind you, that's that subsurface, your surface temperatures. But again, we have big warm trends. South wind blows that warm water up in there, and you change the complexity of the backwater in a hurry, okay? Also remember to look for sheltered things, sheltered from the north winds. They're sheltered from the north winds, but exposed to the south winds. Those are the kinds of places you want to be looking this time of year. South winds will blow the warm waters in, if there's warm water to blow in, if it's the cold with a south wind, which is pretty unusual, usually when we're blowing from the south, it's warmer. Okay, so that's the kind of deal. Now's the jig time for sure when it's cold and muddy. I really like the sand tone black and blue orange. So I'm going to give you a couple baits that I would be throwing in the muddy water. There's a lot of cover right now, a lot of junk, a lot of bushes and dead grasses and things. You may want to do like a moving bait, but I really like the jigs. I'm going to get up super shallow. A couple years ago, right after the ice hit, we had literally the 7-day ice Armageddon that we had here in Texas. It froze all the way down on the coast. Within just a few days after the melt-off, I was catching big fish on this sand tone black and blue orange jig in just 2-3 feet of water. In fact, one of my clients pointed out that the fins on the fish looked frozen. Like the fish had been up there during the ice, and maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But the fish were in 2 to 3 feet of water where that subsurface has warmed back up quickly. But the water's dirty. So black and blue orange. This is important here. The UV trailers. This is really some good tips for you. Right now there are some bites that you can find. Square bill bite, jerkbait bite with live scope, spinnerbait bite is pretty darn good around the junk and the cover in the right places. But again, I want to give you a little information. I would fish the jig, and this is the time of year in the dirty water that I find the UV effect the most effective. Tight lines UV. This bait does not glow, it's reflective of the UV. So when the sun does hit this, it reflects the UV and the fish can really see it a lot better in the dirty water. We're so used to using really dark colors in the dirty water, blacks and browns and solid colors. We're so prone to that you know, to add the UV effect is massive. And where I'm going with that is this is the chunk, by the way. So I'm definitely going to be using a UV chunk on my jig. This is a 3/8 ounce, 5/8 ounce rattling jig from Santone Lures, santonelures.com, with the Tight Lines UV chunk in green pumpkin. You may want a black and blue. Some guys like sapphire in the dirty water. But the UV is important this time of year. So important that I want to share something with you as a really cool public tip for 2 reasons. Number one, so you realize, even though I'm holding out on some of the bites, because I want you to become an actual member, a paying member, $4.99 a month. Subscribe to the members only channel and you get a lot more information. You get the real goods, the real juice, and really exactly where to go on the lake. But I still want you to know publicly that I'm trying to help. I want to give some good information, give you a decent fishing report, and throw you a bone every now and then. And this is something I discovered several years back. But because of the UV effect, the Tight Lines UV effects on their bait, their plastics, I've taken a chatterbait. This has an orange blade on it. I like orange in the dirty water, but you could have a black blade. But I've taken a chatterbait, pull the skirt off, chatterbait or vibe jig, whatever you want to call it, and I put on one of the Tight Line UV creature baits. This should be a little straighter than effects than it really is. I don't like it when baits they don't have to be perfect, but they do need to be straight. And there's a couple things with this bait that are really cool. Number one, obviously it has the UV effects, okay? The sun and UV effects. But it also is the rattling craw. So it's got a rattle in it. So the chatterbait or vibe jig is going to shake this thing huge. I'm going to get the vibration from the chatterbait itself, the blade itself. I'm going to get the UV visual effects. It's a black and blue, so they really got the solid effects. And then I also have the rattling effects of the built-in rattle in the bait. I cannot tell you, I almost use this as a search bait this time of year over a square bill. This is huge. This deal right here has really played out so well for me in the past years that I've actually even I've found shad. When shad get really cold, they will literally go up near the banks and sunning areas and lay on their sides on the bottom. They look like they're dead. I've seen this in clear water fisheries where the shad are laying. It looks like they're all dead on the bottom, and they're in 2 feet of water. And look at all those dead shad. And then when you throw something at them or get near them, footprints, they come back alive and swim off. And they're laying on their side sunbathing. But I've found that if I can find shad with this bait, this is a chatterbait, vibe jig, whatnot, I have even caught channel catfish in the muddy, cold water. So again, Tightlines UV crawl, rattling hybrid crawl, which has the rattle in it, the UV effects, black and blue. This is Bomba bug. And then, of course, the chatterbait blade. Big deal in this dirty, cold water. All right, that's the gist of the report that I can give you. I'm looking at a handful of baits. I'm fishing this week 3 times. By the end of the month, starting March 1st, I'm 6 days a week, all the way through till June. There is no days available in March. There is, however, a few select days in April, and there's a pretty decent handful in May. June's pretty open, but it will fill. Keep this in mind. I generally, from this point out, will keep a full schedule about 2 months out. Once we are actually on the water every single day, start catching fish and making posts, and the hype happens, not just myself and McFarland Fishing, but the lake hype happens. All the guides begin fishing in March. It threads up huge. If you want to fish with me, you need to book now. If you want to fish in April, if you want to fish in May, you want to fish in June. For example, like I know a lot of guys say they want to fish Skeeter event. I don't have any dates available. It's booked. It's solid. The week before Skeeter is completely solid. So book with me now. The other thing is one last invite to two different upgraded members channels that I offer. One is called Members Only. It's $4.99. When I finish this film with you, I'm going to break out I see 6 or 7 baits that I put aside, and I'm going to break those baits out and show them to the members only clients. Tell them the techniques that I would use. Tell them exactly where to fish on the lake right now. If you were going tomorrow, where to be. That's members only. It's called Members Only Channel. Look in the description below this video. Hit the join button and become a member. Before you make that decision, I want to offer you an upgraded channel from that. That's called Let's Talk Fishing. The Let's Talk Fishing is $9.99 a month, but it includes everything that the members get, plus you get a lesson per week, 1 lesson per week, and that lesson is in super duper depth and detail. It's usually somewhere between 35 to 50 minutes long. It could be about jigs, watercolor, birds, techniques. I just did a 51-minute on swim baits and glide baits. So potentially you might want to become a Let's Talk Fishing member. That's one upgraded from the members. And it's $9.99 a month. And there's one other cool thing that happens. If you become a Let's Talk Fishing member, you now will be entered in a monthly drawing. The monthly drawing gets whoever gets drawn gets a free package from all of my sponsors and pro staff positions. The value of the package is well over $100. Just did we did our January, announced our January winner last Thursday. There were 4 bags of tight lines, 4 packs, 4 different things from Impact, 4 different things from Sandtone Lures, Go Fish Lures, Lake Fork Tackle Lures, discount cards from Lake Fork Marina, discount cards from Josh at Props Plus, discount cards also for the Go Fish Cafe, a hoodie from me. The value of the giveaway last month was probably close to $150. So by becoming a Let's Talk Fishing member, you also have a shot at winning that giveaway every month. All right? That's it. I appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. Keep praying for a little more rain. And pray for others. We're supposed to pray for others, not for ourselves. So I'm going to throw this out there. I'm doing it for 2 reasons. I really want someone to pray for my brother. I want to see how many of you are watching all the way to the end. But I need prayers for my brother. My oldest brother has already passed away, Dan. My second oldest brother, John, has terrible cancer, rectal cancer. It's in his liver. It's in his glands. It's all blowing up right now. I got a message this morning that I probably need to come see him. His time is limited. So I would ask that if you're a faithful public follower of mine, just drop a prayer for my brother, John Richard McFarland Jr. Pray for peace, pray for comfort. He's on his last days, and there's no turning it around. So pray for our family. as I would pray for you. I pray for everybody, for rain, for good fishing. And God bless you all. I thank you so much for watching.